You're standing on a black sand beach in Hawaii, and somewhere across 2,500 miles of open Pacific, an island you've never seen is waiting. No compass, no sextant, no screen glowing in your palm. Just a canoe, the open sky, and a man named Mau Piailug, about to sail there anyway. The year is 1976. The canoe is called Haklea. For the next month, Piailug will read the ocean the way you read a phone screen, instantly, without ever writing a single coordinate down. Right now, you can't walk 3 blocks without your phone buzzing with directions. Lose signal for 10 minutes and you feel it, that low hum of panic, the sense of being unmoored, somewhere along the way. Knowing where you are quietly turned into a service someone else provides for you. For most of human history, there was no other option. No maps, no street signs, no satellites overhead, just land, sky, and memory. So how did ancient humans, scattered across deserts, ice sheets, and open ocean, actually find their way home, cross entire continents, and locate a single island in millions of square miles of water without ever drawing a map? Everyone assumes early humans were basically guessing, wandering until they got lucky. The truth is stranger than that. These were exact, testable, teachable systems, refined and corrected across thousands of years, the same way any science improves. In 1976, Piailug, a master navigator from the tiny island of Satawal in Micronesia, guided Haklea from Hawaii to Tahiti for the Polynesian Voyaging Society. That's roughly 2,500 miles of open ocean, sailed with 0 instruments. He steered by memorizing the rising and setting points of more than 100 stars. When clouds hid the sky, he switched to reading swell patterns, feeling the rhythm of distant waves through the hull of the canoe with his own body. Modern sailors know their position within a few feet, thanks to satellites. Piailug used a mental star compass learned as a child, dividing the horizon into 32 houses, the way you might memorize numbers on a clock face. None of it was written down. There was no textbook. Thousands of years of ocean knowledge lived inside one person's memory, past teacher to student, voyage to voyage. That's not folklore. That's a working GPS made of stars, swells, and inherited memory, sailed successfully across one of the largest oceans on Earth. So the ocean is one puzzle. But what happens when the landscape itself keeps erasing your trail? In the Kalahari Desert, tracker and researcher Louis Liebenberg spent decades documenting how sand hunters read the ground as a map. In a 2006 study published in the journal Current Anthropology, Liebenberg described persistence hunters chasing a kudu antelope for up to 8 hours across open terrain in heat above 40 degrees Celsius, relying only on footprints, disturbed pebbles, and bent grass stems to know exactly where their prey had gone. A single footprint told them the animal's weight, its speed, how recently it had passed even, sometimes its mood. Multiply that by hundreds of tracks a day, and a hunter builds a constantly updating mental map of everything moving across a landscape most outsiders would call featureless. Liebenberg later argued that tracking itself was an early form of science, hypothesis, evidence, revision, played out in real time on sand. Everyone assumes tracking is pure instinct, something primitive people simply had. The truth is closer to forensic work than intuition. Liebenberg found expert trackers debating evidence and cross-checking each other's conclusions before committing to a direction, peer review, centuries before the term existed. Farther north, in the Canadian Arctic, anthropologist Claudio Aporta spent years traveling with Inuit hunters around Igloolik, Nunavut in a 2009 paper published in the journal Human Ecology. He mapped something remarkable. A network of named trails stretching across thousands of kilometers of sea ice and tundra, memorized and passed down for generations, with no physical markers at all. Inuit navigators read wind-carved snow ridges, called sastrugi, the way you'd read a street sign, since prevailing winds carve them in consistent directions across an entire region. They tracked stars, the drift of sea ice, even the taste and color of snow. This close to the magnetic pole, a compass can spin uselessly. Memory didn't. Aporta's maps of these trail networks, built from elders' testimony, looked almost like a subway system. Dozens of interconnected routes layered over land most outsiders would call blank. Nothing was written down for centuries. It didn't need to be. The map was never on paper. It was inherited. So deserts have tracks. Ice has ridges carved by wind. But what do you do with knowledge that has to survive 1,000 years without a single sheet of paper? In Australia, Aboriginal communities encoded travel routes into song, story, and ceremony, what's often called a songline. Researchers documenting Aboriginal astronomical knowledge, including work by astronomer Duan Hamasher, have described routes stretching for hundreds of kilometers, where each verse corresponds to a specific landmark, waterhole, or turn in the path. Sing the song in the right order. at a pace matched to walking speed, and you arrive at your destination, even across land you've never personally seen, because the information was inherited whole from someone who had walked it before you. A single songline could encode a journey longer than the distance between London and Paris, carrying details about water, food, danger, and season, compressed into something a child could memorize before they could read. Everyone assumes stories like this are folklore, decoration sitting on top of the real knowledge. The truth is, the story was the knowledge, a 1,000-year data structure disguised as a song, more durable than paper, because it was rehearsed by every generation that needed it. Here's the pattern underneath all of it. Stars, footprints, snow ridges, songs, different tools, same underlying trick. None of these systems lived in a device. None of them could be lost, stolen, or run out of battery. They lived distributed across a community, refreshed every time an elder taught a child, every time a story got retold around a fire. The real navigation system was never the stars themselves. It was the culture built to remember them accurately, generation after generation, for thousands of years, without a single error compounding into a wrong turn that could kill someone. Lose a satellite and a modern GPS goes dark. Lose one elder, one teacher, one storyteller without a successor, and an entire system like this could vanish in a single generation, which is exactly why so much of it was built to be shared, not hoarded. Ancient humans didn't solve the problem of getting lost with better instruments. They solved it with better memory, and with each other. Back on that black sand beach in 1976, Mau Piailug didn't carry a single map when Hecla pushed off from Hawaii. He carried a lifetime of stars, memorized swells, and a chain of teachers stretching back further than anyone could count. You, right now, are carrying a phone that can locate you within 10 feet almost anywhere on Earth, and you've probably still gotten lost in a parking garage this year. Somewhere in that trade, something got smaller. Not the maps, the memory. We didn't lose the ability to find our way. We just outsourced it and forgot we ever had to earn it ourselves.